that's me. I'm
Welcome everybody to Geek Speak TV Live.
That's right. I'm gonna stay down here.
That's Geek Speak TV Live.
Yeah, that's why.
You might have recognized that beautiful, beautiful voice from
It's the voice of Donald Trump.
cartoons, movie voiceovers. First, we'd like to introduce Bill Ratner. Bill was the voice of my childhood hero, Flint, on the GIJoe cartoon.
Your mother and I said you wanted to go to bed now.
I was just saying outside that, Bill was the guy who taught me not to burn down buildings, talk to strangers, jump in weird cars. Pretty much, knowing is half the battle. You guys
Morality via TV, did it work?
Now you know, and knowing is half the
You know what?
battle.
Actually, I find myself repeating some of those things a lot. Like,
You're the reason I didn't grow up and become an arsonist.
There it is.
Very happy about
For
that.
real.
Yet another success story.
Also returning to the panel from last year is Melissa Doss-Diwa on the end. If you recognize her, it's probably from the Sci-Fi Channel show, the Jim Henson Creature Workshop Challenge.
Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge.
I threw in the word work. And she also, what else? I mean, you do a lot now.
Yeah, so I also currently make Gene Simmons armor for the band Kiss. And I also do a lot of work with Disney and their YouTube channels. I just worked on a project where I made over 50 puppets for some shorts called Tsum Tsum Kingdom with the Disney Tsum Tsums. So I do that, and I do a bunch of makeup transformations for Disney as well. And then I also currently work with Henson's on a lot of projects, and currently some really cool secret projects too. So yeah, that's what jams.
That's all you're doing, really?
Yeah.
So lazy.
It's not that
Get a job.
And I know Melissa because we went to college together. Look at the age of people that I went to college with. It's amazing.
I sold my soul for my face to not age.
It was, for me, it was like that show Community. I was like the 30-something-year-old guy doing theater at a community college. And Melissa did my makeup when I played Hamlet.
Drink more water.
That's really how we met. It was pretty cool.
Bettering yourself through education.
Yeah. And I saw her in the San Diego Comic-Con doing the Art Heroines panel, and then invited her to do this.
Speaking of Art Heroines panel, that is tomorrow, right?
Yeah, plugging that in. The Art Heroines panel is going to be tomorrow at noon at room 308. And that's A, I believe, 308A. And so that's all female artists in every single different part of the industry, from digital art, fabrication, makeup, the full gambit. So if any of you guys want to check that out, that should be pretty awesome too.
It's really neat. I saw it in San Diego, and like a giant monster came in.
Yeah.
For real.
We had a soup performer come in, a real monster, and start attacking. So it was pretty fantastic.
And then our third guest, she was going to be here last year, but there was an emergency last second, and we couldn't have her, but she's here this year, and we're so glad she is. Sheridan.
Honestly, I don't know why I'm here exactly.
If you recognize your voice, maybe it's from Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
She is a voice in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. What real voice?
What voice for you?
But it's one of the stormtroopers.
Dude,
That is huge!
I don't know. I was just thinking,
Stormtrooper. But you know what?
I'd be signing autographs about that if I
Stormtrooper TK.
I actually know a guy who was the stand-in for Hayden Christensen, and he goes to cons and he signs autographs.
As a stand-in?
As a stand-in, and I gotta respect the hustle, man. I wouldn't have those kind of cojones.
You should say like TK4220, whatever.
Now, also though, in addition to that, you have done cosplay on levels that I've never seen anywhere else.
Oh, no.
You guys have seen her. You guys have seen her.
Really looks like a demon from hell on stilts with cloven hooves. And
I worked with Cinema Makeup School, which is in one of the big makeup schools in Los Angeles, and I've been like sort of, I've done Diablo and I've done Dark Child, but like, not a hot Dark Child. Like a creepy, like a haunt your dreams kind of. It's like, well, you're in a bikini, but I feel like you're gonna like destroy, like steal my soul.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a rock monster.
Like
but
a
in
rock
bikini,
monster.
It's on fire.
Like most girls I date.
That's accurate. It was a rock monster view. But I'm happy to be here, and I always like to sit next to super talented, awesome people.
Well, I mean, you're very humble to do, because that's being a voice in the biggest movie that came out in forever, but also doing stuff that's super physical.
Yeah.
I mean, you trained with stunts and swords.
I have. I'm. You know what? I'm just another actor trying to make it in Hollywood. Like, I just have had some very good, cool, like surprising opportunities. Not fall into my lap exactly, but it's who you know, guy. No, it's not. No, I'm talented. I swear to God, I'm talented. I'm super talented.
Well, see, Kat brings up a good point that I've always said about actors in Hollywood is that you're so multifaceted and trained on different levels that you don't want to mess with an actor. You know, Keanu Reeves is probably one of the most deadliest people in the world with all the action movies he's done, all the training he's gone through. I took karate for 6 months and I think I'm Bruce Lee. You know, can you imagine these guys in The Matrix and all the other, like, you trained in actual katanas?
I had, well, no, like broadswords, and I did knife work, and you know, I've done like I've fallen many times, I've rolled a bunch of times. They teach you how to like not injure yourself. I've done some like single sword, like Hollywood like Errol Flynn type stuff, and then small sword, which is the historical style. So like, and the more you can do, I think, in the business, like, the better off you are. Like, the more versatile you are, the more multifaceted you are, the more it's like you can sing, if you can dance. Because it's like, oh, I'm just an actor. There's no such thing. Like, every working actor I know, they're a singer, or they're a poet, or they're an artist, or there is no, like, necessarily one thing that they do. So they go to audition, it's like, hey, can you roller skate and then stand on your head? And it's like, that one guy that practiced that for a year just for funsies is gonna book the job. So I can crack a bullwhip.
Diversify.
Like
your stock portfolio. Baby.
Now, Melissa.
Yes.
Are you, when you say you're working on a secret project, how high up does the threat level of a non-disclosure thing go in the puppetry world?
Like, how much trouble could you really go?
It's super high up. It's as in, like, I signed an NDA, and I don't know how much money I would have to pay them back if I told, but super secret project from the Jim Henson company. So I'll just let your mind run with that. Like,
I hope they bring back Fraggle Rock.
pretty much anything you can think
Right?
of.
I want to know, like, how does a lovely young lady like yourself get into puppets? Like, where was that evolution?
You know, it's so funny because I actually went from being in theater to then loving the makeup and doing special effects makeup and working on, like, I wouldn't even call them B horror films. I call them like Y or Z horror films. I like making like 5-gallon buckets of blood to then working with the company that shared the workspace and then being like, hey, do you want to learn how to make like creatures and puppets? And I'm like, yes I do. And just kind of made that transition through the shop that I was in and the workspace, and never in a million years did I ever dream that I would be making creatures and puppets and like essentially playing with toys, like really expensive toys for a living.
No, like, what is that made out of? Can you tell everybody? Because it looks...
Yeah. So these are actually...
It looks real.
Thank you. So these both were a part of the Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge.
Yeah.
And I sculpted them, and then they were molded and run in foam latex. So essentially the same material that a makeup sponge is made out of. And so I'm not gonna let everybody come up and touch them, but you can see they're squishy and they're soft. They're actually soft and like soft feeling to the touch. Like, it's creepy, to be honest. So it does make them really fragile, and they are liable to like break down over time. Like all the like original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I was gonna say like all the original TMNT, all the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like faces and arms and all of that were foam latex. So the ones
those looked awesome.
they were so good, and so the ones that are on display now look like zombies. they're like all like crumbled and disintegrated and brown, and like you just see like the necks underneath because this is such like kind of fragile medium. So these two are doing substantially well compared to anything else.
So what about conservation in that respect, as far as like those suits, which I would love to have seen preserved?
Yeah.
Can you preserve that kind of material?
Not really. Not successfully. Not for a forever time. There are a lot that if you properly clean them, because the thing that breaks them down, and like with any foam product, is oils, and so being touched a lot, and obviously the suits being worn, and a lot of those body oils and sweat absorbs into it because it is a sponge. So things like this, these are a little bit easier to preserve because they're not getting the level of sweat. This one would last longer than this guy because think about it, anytime he's being touched, he's being handled by the outside. What you can do is just wash them really well and keep them in like a nice case.
You just painted a whole new picture of what those suits actually probably smelled like, the
Oh
Ninja Turtle
gosh.
suits.
You want
Those
to
things
talk
are...
about something disgusting, it's the smell from any creature suit. Oh my god.
So let's not push for smell-o-vision just yet.
Yeah.
So this stuff's made like 60 years ago, like for Wizard of Oz or something. Does that stuff end up lasting longer than the latex stuff made today?
It depends again on which medium it was made out of and how it was preserved, because the problem that happens too with some of the movies and things like that were filmed before is everything was kind of disposable, and a lot of like the studios were just kind of going through things and doing a lot with them, so not everything was handled correctly or even like labeled properly or put away properly, and a lot of stuff was discarded. But a lot of the things that were made in, I guess, because I mean, foam latex is one of the older mediums, and just latex suits is one of the older mediums, and latex will actually liquefy as well, which is pretty gross. All of this stuff is like pretty, and that's why it gets filmed because it won't be around very long.
Well, on that point, and he's not here, but he was on a guest last night in our booth. Houston Huddleston is creating the Hollywood Horror Sci-Fi Museum to preserve things like this that are important to our culture, which is American culture, which is cinema, and the art of creating props and things like that. Because he started off rescuing the Enterprise bridge, which he literally found in the trash can. Star Trek bridge was in the trash can.
Crazy.
Yeah, and now he's here with his aliens loader and all that other good stuff. But,
Nice.
yeah. So make sure you guys, preservation. So go like him.
Though every time you say anything,
No.
it sounds
Just
like it's such a velvety.
Somebody quick, give me a
bridge.
book so you can read it.
Dr.
Dr. Seuss.
Seuss going up to a high of 79 today. That's how I put myself to sleep. I get really bored listening.
Now, are you doing books on tape at all?
No, I actually did a couple of books on tape, but I'm so spoiled. My gigs, I sit in my basement, and my gigs last an average of about, the longest is like 45 minutes. For air disasters on Smithsonian, Flight 405, in mysterious manner. And it's an hour show, and it takes like 45 minutes to record it. That's a really long time. I get tired, I have to change my undershirt. But to say, tonight, rock star rolls over his fans in a limo. At the outside, that takes about a minute and a half. So where's the book? I mean, actually, people are interested in voiceovers. You can go on acx.com, and it's a hiring hall. And you can do a demo, you can do your own demo, and every one of us could just grab 45 seconds worth of whatever kind of book, sci-fi, history, whatever.
Oh,
You
nice.
get hired on acx.com, and it's a bigger and bigger business. They used to hire nothing but celebs or the authors, but they're hiring us these days to do books on tape. But the answer is no, because they're too lazy.
I don't even think it's okay, so I was trying to read a book like through just one chapter, like one page through. That stuff is hard.
It is hard. It is
You
hard.
sit down, you're like, oh, I could just read it. So if I say it out loud, but and you're trying to sound like you, and you're just sort of like, the night was, damn it. Like, you can't, just to get through and like to breathe through it and you have to kind of record, you can't just break it up into 3 sentences and then, no.
Right.
You gotta kind of blow through
It's
it.
more like 30,000 sentences.
Exactly.
Well, and in fiction, you have the reader doing different voices You know, and it's like, oh, and then Hermione came in, and then she's like, well, they did this weird like adjustment to
It's
the
weird that way
voice.
because you can't be crazy cartoony because they know you're the narrator and you're doing this voice and then you're doing this voice. So the really good ones, like the guy who did the Harry Potter series and the guy, another guy, Scott Drake, who does millions of books, they'll sort of tone the voices down. It'll be a character voice, but it'll be sort of, I'm a narrator, the storyteller doing this character, as opposed to full out, you know, crazy purple.
So when you are recording, are you picturing maybe talking to a child, or are you?
Yeah, I was on a panel with a bunch of book on tape narrators, and somebody asked, "Do you guys prepare?" And three of them said, "No." Next question. But about another 3 or 4 said, "Of course we prepare. We read the book, we mark it up. You know, this character is red, this character is green, this character is blue, etc." And they rehearsed and practiced, and they ended up making, you know, $80-90 an hour or more. Yeah. For many, many, many hours. And they paid per finished hour. And you know, you can, whether you have a studio or not, you can hire your friend who just graduated, you know, UCLA with a degree in communications, who's in his garage waiting for someone to call, who's got Pro Tools or Twisted Wave or some audio program, or you know, like we all do. I'll edit. How much? $35 an hour. Yes. He's going to charge me $60. So that's how these things are done these days.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about your costume today?
I actually, this was not issued by the United States Armed Forces. I played the character Flint in GIJoe, in the TV cartoon, and the GIJoe. Lady J, we tried to lure Eric Lewis, Lady J, down here, and she said, you know, how much are you paying? I said, nothing. And she said, my ticket's going to cost me $389. I said, well, all right. Put it in your credit card.
Maybe next year.
Come on,
Maybe
you
next year.
guys.
That's the amazing
Okay.
thing about doing conventions in Los Angeles. You get the best guests, and most of the time it can be for free.
Well,
which is great.
actually, we have agents for us, and it's kind of, I've seen my colleagues, you know, who did GIJoe and Transformers and all the rest of the shows, out on the convention floor, signing autographs for $25 a pop.
Oh, yeah.
And this young guy comes up and he said, you want to do it? And I said, do what? He said, what she's doing? She's just made $4,000 for the day. And I went, but it gets in, it denigrates the love, you know. I mean, I've gone to Joe Cons and stuff, and you get paid, you know, and you get a check and you put it in your pocket, and you sit and talk with fans, and it's fun because my wife doesn't understand me.
I gotta tell you.
Yeah, you battled this monster today, honey. All right, that's no, but you know, this is really fun. So, but the idea of saying, "Hey, the handshake was fun. You got $5 on you because."
I know. You're a classy man because like I know some of the other people. I mean, they have appearance agents for
Yes,
that
yes,
specific thing,
exactly.
and it's like they go and I mean, they feel a little weird about it too. But I mean, if somebody was willing to give me $5 for my handshake, I love y'all, but I would take your money so fast. I would take it so fast.
Especially if
In
you
love.
just got the email from B&A saying you have 60 days to get out of your house. And
Yeah,
that's your
yeah.
mortgage. Then $25.
Take the money.
Right?
Take the money. That's one thing I love about the geek community, though, is that you do find a lot of people in this community willing to help and give you their time for free, you know, and not even expect anything back in return. And I've tried to do that with the same with Geeks PT, is just give things away, and we've gotten so much back in return that, you know.
Well, I think there's you know, we all have agents, and there's a terrible gridlock on 405 last night, 3 hours long, 1 in the morning. They finally cleared it, and the CHP announced they found a dead agent and a dead pig by the side of the road. The weirdest thing was there were skid marks in front of the pig. It's the agents who do this, you know, who go, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. And you say, why don't we just, you know, you collect the money and we'll chat with friends and fans and stuff, and then, you know, give me a cut afterwards. This is embarrassing. No. Because I think they like to see, here's the $5 bill. You know, that's what agents should really. If there are any agents in the crowd.
The underbelly. Of course.
But I think that just occurred to me that's the reason for that. There could be a different model where everybody from, you know, cartoon voices to huge stars like Melissa to porn actors who are also stars I'm in a writing group with a porn actress who's a huge star in the 80s. And guys still line up and they treat me so well, she said. They treat me so well. Because she's bigger than Michelle Pfeiffer. In any way, I'm sorry. But really, this is a huge deal for a man who sat in his basement for 16 years and gets to meet this goddess, this star, or this god, whatever. And so it's a special relationship. I'm not a porn star.
Yeah, I noticed that you were sort of gesturing in my general direction.
No.
Hell, man.
Anyway, he was pointing at me.
No, that was not.
There's a horror movie that you know those horror movies you worked on?
Yeah.
I worked on one, and my bosoms may have been exposed. I was very young. It was like my first movie. It was SAG, like, they're never gonna be that young again. So like, we all do things that like we feel maybe a little weird about
We've all
as we
got
get
them.
older. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, Geek Speak TV might have like a nude review.
Of course we do.
Like one night, just.
Well, that's the one thing I think about geek culture that I've always said is that geeks are very openly sexual, very openly about drinking and partying as far as drugs.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Where
It's crazy.
yeah, a bunch of horny kids watching like Meatballs movies and Stripes, like all those like 80s comedies like Porky's. That I think is part of our
you
geek
can
culture.
channel his energy into masks and puppets.
Yeah. Is that really what this boils down to? Just
Honestly.
like that.
I mean, we were sequestered for 2 months, and a lot of creativity came out.
I mean, and
Fair.
that's why there aren't a bunch of voiceover actors from cartoons that I grew up loving who I asked to do this. Bill and I happened to be friends because I happened to be the technical director on a one-man show that he did at an improv theater I worked at. And then he came and he did my improv show, Comic Book Live, because we did a GIJoe special, and then we just, it made sense to invite him to this. I didn't know
It was
if
the
he'd be
most
interested.
terrifying experience. I mean, Patrick had these crack Hollywood improv actors at what was the name of the joint? IO West on Hollywood Boulevard, a great bar, 5 theaters, incredible, Saturday night entertainment. And these people were killers. I mean, they were wonderful. But I would say things like, "Hey, man, got a gun? Want to dance?" And there'd be a long, embarrassing moment. That was really terrifying. Because being out from behind a microphone for a voiceover actor is like being in a nightmare with a nude on a bus somewhere down on Hill on 7th Street.
Real quick, sitting to my left suddenly
Woo.
is Chandra Chang.
As if
Fashionably late.
how Ali are you?
Party too hard last night, guys. Sorry.
Oh, look who happens to be walking in. It's Adult Swim's writer Chandra Chang.
I wish the
Right
whole
in that
audience.
time.
I wish there was a camera pointed at the audience when you said that. Everybody went, what?
Look,
it's more camel.
Chandra, this is Melissa, Bill, and Kat. Chandra's a writer for Black Jesus and the Boondocks, and also a cosplayer. What can you tell us about what you work today?
I'm hungover Chun-Li today. I'm missing a bun. I don't know. I must have gotten into a fight.
I think we'll just go
Spikes
that
are missing.
Chung-over.
I don't even know. So.
Chung-over.
Chung-over, yes.
Put it in the
I'm
dictionary.
using that
Put it
all
in
day
there.
today.
You almost need to make yourself a little messier.
I shouldn't have. I know. I
To
was like, I
really
should just
embrace
rub
that.
my face.
Smear the mascara a little bit. Yeah.
Walk around with a can in a bag.
I was unzipped like 5 minutes. I should have let myself unzip. Like, hey.
Missing an earring and everything.
So we were just talking about voiceover because Bill was the voice of Flint on the GIJoe cartoon. Kat is the voice of a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens.
Wow.
And Chandra's a writer on show The Boondocks uses a lot of voiceover.
Yeah, that's entirely.
Pretty much all voice.
It's all voice.
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
That was the first, I want to say 7 years of my career sitting in a studio just listening to take after take after take after take.
And
But 7 years employed though. That's
Yes,
one thing. Like,
that,
hold
yeah,
on,
no,
wait a
that's
minute.
like unheard of
7
in the
years.
industry. 7 years straight.
It's interesting to look at that casting because you have a grown woman playing two different boys, and you have two black actors playing two white guys.
Wait a minute.
It was so fun
Really?
watching that whole process.
Charlie Murphy and Samuel L. Jackson are Jin Rami.
I know that part. Yeah.
Regina King plays both Huey and Riley.
I never paid attention.
Yeah.
I feel like with young male characters, though, like kids, a lot of times you do get, like, Bart Simpson is a woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know,
Nancy
that's
Cartwright.
not Nancy Cartwright. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't think, it seems odd, but I don't think it's that unusual,
No.
ultimately.
So as the writer, you had to sit there for the whole session.
Well, I when I started on the Boondocks, I actually started as an intern. So my 7 years wasn't I worked my way up through those 7 years. But yes, I all 7 of those years, I was at every record, every Skype meeting with Korea for the animation. You know, there was 2 years where I spent just doing all the reference for the animation, where I'd have to send photos of milk cartons to Korea because their milk cartons are different than our milk cartons. So, you know, we have to send
What
even
are
just
they
like
like?
brooms. Like they would send us these weird, ancient-looking broom-like things, and we're like, no, a broom. We just want a broom. Like, so it was. I mean, it was a great job. It was.
Probably
You know,
use
like I said,
bottles.
unheard of to have, you know, a job for that long in the industry consistently, but I'm never going back to animation.
Now, Black Jesus is on the Cartoon Network, but it's live action.
Yes, it is live action. It's a lot of fun though, and I think it still maintains the satire and the, you know, the kind of like tongue-in-cheek undertones that the Boondocks had. So, you know, it kind of has its own little cult following. More people are finding out about it.
It's a funny show.
Well, what I love about it is that it really sends out a positive message at the end of the day, even though it's all, you know, they're smoking weed and it's about gangsters. But at the end of the day, Black Jesus is, you know, trying to spread his positive message of love and kindness. So I just really like the balance of that, you know, where, you know, you can still have all that really gritty, grimy stuff, but
And when does that air?
Production has been delayed, so the next season we're still waiting for an actual air date.
Mm-hmm.
But you can catch all the episodes on adultswim.com.
Very cool. And the Boondocks is still playing on Netflix.
Yes, it is.
I was just watching it this morning.
Yes.
How did you go from being an intern with a bunch of sweaty voiceover actors to writing for the shows? Was it always your intention?
It wasn't actually. I was looking for my niche in the entertainment industry. I didn't really know where I wanted to go with it, but I kind of slipped into writing. It's a funny story. I was still working on the Boondocks when Black Jesus started, and I decided to stay on the sinking ship instead of jumping ship. I should have jumped ship, but I wanted to, you know, I'd been with them for so long, I wanted to end the ride with them. So I missed my opportunity on the production side for Black Jesus, and then when they told me that they were looking for writers, they gave the same opportunity to about 5 other people to submit a spec, and they gave us a deadline, and every other person threw their hands in the air and said, nope, I'm not doing it, and I'm the only one that turned the spec in. So apparently it was better than even like the EP's, you know, scripts that he turns in. So I'm just like, all right, cool. And there were entire scenes missing. I would literally just say, Black Jesus says something funny here, and like just leave it at that.
Wow.
But they wanted it in at a certain time, and I sent it in, and they loved it, and
That's
they
a
bought
great
it.
point about the industry, though, is like delivering on time and doing work is better than not.
Exactly.
And not following through and not doing the job.
You can send something in unfinished, you know, like just send it in. Just send it in, because you never know. I didn't know that the 5 other people said, oh, this is too hard, I quit. You know, I just kept powering through and sent in what I thought was shit.
And
And
season
it got
4.
sold, you know, and then
That's
I
awesome.
sold 3 more episodes this season coming up, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
And I also I have a pilot in production at Adult Swim too called Homeboy, and that has Al Shearer, who was Hits from the Streets back in the day on BET, and then we also got Redman, so it should be really fun. Yeah.
Now, if you're looking for a compromise between live action and animation, things like Melissa makes.
Yeah, I was like, you want anything with creatures or puppets, girl? You just let me know.
And it really feels like
puppet show.
creatures and puppets and
Heck
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, it's a way to go if you want to do animation,
Well,
but don't want to do
the
animation.
best part about it is like that you have these caricatures that can be as wild and zany as you want because there's certain like leeway given to things like that, but it's all happening in live time, so you can tell that person because there's a puppeteer underneath it, like, oh no, do this, take this way, and so it doesn't have to go all the way back to like storyboards. It doesn't have to go all the way back to, you know, like whoever's hands who are, you know, drawing it and doing this scene. It's like it can all happen in real time, and that's kind of the beauty of filming with puppets. Like I just did at the beginning of the year something with some friends of mine from a production company called HCT Media, and it was amazing because while you get that fun look of like something like stop motion, which has like a lot of, you know, work put into it, and animation in that same vein, you can communicate to your puppeteer and your little character will do it as ideas come to you, and you can improvise and do all these things that are so crucial to having like just funny bits and some very deep emotional bits too. So especially when you have creatures like these guys who also integrate live puppeteering with servos and animatronics, so radio control, so you can get them to be really realistic, essentially, with like blinking eyes, and you can get them to like snarl their lip or like sneeze. Like this one he smoked a pipe and had like smoke come billowing out through his nostrils. So
That
it's a
actually
fun-
happens in real time.
Yeah, and it all
No
happens
post,
in real
no
time.
rendering.
Yeah. And then it's just up to the editor. Just
I'm
like,
convinced.
film it. Yeah.
I'm convinced.
Sold.
To hell with
I know,
CG.
It's weird that there aren't like a ton of puppet shows.
There should be.
I mean,
Pee-wee's
it's
Playhouse? I
expensive.
mean, you guys remember these shit?
When it does come down to creatures like this that are at this level, it is expensive. And it takes, you know, a very trained film crew and a, you know, trained set design to make all that work, because a lot of times, like any of the sets for the Muppets, they're all raised sets. So
They're like this.
everything is like this high up, so that all your performers can walk underneath and be walking with their arms up and be able to move properly. So all this action is happening like up here, and all the cameras and everything like that are on raised platforms. And it's a whole, but then you have to have like these channels and things like that where they can all move underneath. So.
It's really bizarre the first time you see it. Like the first time I walked onto a puppet movie, I filmed in film school. I was a AC on a puppet shoot. And I walked in, I was like, why is everything being built? I was like, oh, duh, it's puppets, it's up in the air, I get it now. But yeah, it's like these tracks you get to walk down, and you have to plan all that out ahead of time, because, but it looks beautiful. And
So besides the Muppets, is there much more, actual manipulation where the actors are inside the?
Oh yeah, truthfully, anytime that you have, especially like smaller creatures, when you have creatures that are going to be in suits and things like that, a lot of the times, like, you can just do that in a regular stage because there's just a performer completely encapsulated. But I'm trying to think of any other examples. I mean, Muppets, there's a lot of Sesame Street. I don't like anything Henson did. A lot of that
I think-
stuff. I mean,
There's a return to practical effects, though. I mean, you see puppets or just animatronics more and more in films, and I think that I'd like to think that that's going to start trending up, and it is.
I think we have George Lucas to blame for that.
No, I mean, no. Then The Force Awakens did. I mean, JJ made a point
of using
That's
animatronics and
That's
sort of
right.
like puppeteer. Like that's what and people. Guillermo del Toro does a really beautiful job of
Oh, the Hellboy,
combining,
right?
Oh yeah, and then just like a lot of the stuff he does, he likes to combine digital with practical. And I'm hoping that that's, and I know it is more expensive, but I mean like I like to see things that are real.
Yes.
As much as I appreciate good visual effects.
Yeah, I
I
think
want to know someone's actually in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. I want to know there's somebody suffocating in that thing.
I want to know that there's like a thing out that I can touch but not touch because it's expensive in front of me. Like,
So we just got the 1 minute mark.
okay.
Oh,
Real
man.
quick, where can everybody find everybody if you want to see any of our guest artists online?
Yeah. So I am on Instagram and Twitter, and I have a skeleton of a website, but it's all under Melissa Mad FX.
Awesome.
So Melissa Mad FX.
Very cool.
And I'm Bill Ratner, at Bill Ratner, and it's simple.
Yeah. He's got a really cool website. It's easy to find. Cat.
If you look up Cat Sheridan, I'm gonna pop up. I'm Cat_Sheridan on Instagram. I'm Cat Sheridan on Facebook. I have dropped off Twitter, but I'll get back on. And let's see what other social. I'm working on a website, but yeah, just Cat Sheridan on the interwebs.
Chandra.
I mainly use Snapchat and Instagram. So if you want to find me on Instagram, it's Chang, CHA_CHANGGG.
I like that.
Like
Cha-ching.
like Chang,
Like the money.
Cha-chang.
Right, I get it. I get it. That's
Instagram, I'm sorry, Snapchat, R2Kitty, spelled out ARTOO Kitty.
nice.
That's where you'll get all the good stuff.
Mr. Moore?
You can find me just at Patrick Ian Moore on Twitter.
And we are geekspeak.tv, and you can find us in all our links to all our social media stuff there, and our YouTube channel as well. And we have a booth downstairs, 1614.
Yeah, booth 1614. Rob Van Dam is just now getting here, but he's probably going to be at our booth for a little while if you want to meet him. We've
some
got a
signing.
green screen. It's a lot of fun. And we've got some stuff to give away, so hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you so much for coming to Geek Speak TV Live. And
Thank you guys so much again.
keep enjoying Stanley's LA Comic-Con Kamikaze Expo 2016.
Yeah.
Mouthful.
Get it.
Read more comics.
Thank you so much, guys.